Hey everyone, it's Kane, the cartoon guy who always talks about Saturday morning cartoons and makes videos about them, but it's time to do something different. We've done 1965 through 1990, we've covered the bulk of the cartoons, but it's time for some movies and TV shows and whatever we really want to talk about. So I'm going to have a movie today, talk about it, learn about it, and give it a grade. So pull up your seats, class is in session. So today I want to talk about Total Recall, movie from 1990 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was directed by Paul Verhoeven and was based on a book by Philip K. Dick called We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. The book came out in the 70s, but the movie sat around trying to find someone to make it until the late 80s when Arnold Schwarzenegger bought the rights to it and decided he'd star in it, make the movie, and it became a reality. Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time was, the biggest action hero, arguably, at that time, and you didn't make any more money than putting him in charge of a movie, or in the lead of a movie. So, it also stars Rachel Ticotin and Ronnie Cox, Michael Ironside, and one of my favorite is Robert Picardo. He really didn't star in the movie, but he was the voice of Johnny Cab. Johnny Cab is just one of my favorite things out of a movie, even though he's only in it for a few minutes. And you really pick out Robert Picardo's voice. If you're a Star Trek fan like I am, you really do notice it right away. He was the EMH holographic doctor on Star Trek Voyager. So, movie's basically about set in the future. There's Earth, there's a Mars colony, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is a construction worker who he's tired of his life. He knows that he's meant for more, and he wants to go to Mars. And his wife just keeps telling him, no, let's go on a space cruise, or let's do this. He's married to Sharon Stone, who was really hot back then. His friends at work keep telling him, hey, don't do that. Why do you need to go to Mars? But Arnold hears of this thing called recall, and they will implant memories into your brain for a fee, and it's like you went on a trip and you can just sit back and remember every little thing about it. That's really weird. I mean, I know it's set in the future, but I don't want people putting shit in my brain. So what if they put in memories of you murdering someone and then tell people you murdered someone and you remember it? You're gonna fail that lie detector test. But he goes to get it done. The guy explains to him what's going to happen, tells him, hey, you don't have to be you. You can be a sports hero or a model, a millionaire, or a secret agent. And Arnold he jumps on the secret agent part. So he chooses it, he pays them, and they're going to implant this into his brain. And when they do it, something breaks loose in him that apparently his memory's been wiped before. So he goes crazy, he's telling them they're coming to kill us, they're coming to get you, and they're gonna, you don't know what you've done, you've blown my cover, you're all gonna die. And the guy says, look, they restrain him, they put some drugs in him, knock him out. He says, look, he's playing out the implant that we're putting into him. And the nurse says, we haven't put him into him yet. We started playing with his brain, and this is what happened. Obviously, he's had his memory wiped before, and they didn't do a good job. So, come to find out, Arnold was on Mars. He was a spy, or something along those lines. And somebody did mess with him before. So they wipe all the memories of recall, everything out of his brain. They dump him in a taxi cab, Johnny Cab, and send him on his way. And on his way home, he stops and gets off at a mall, it looks like, or somewhere. and people start attacking him, his coworkers. Why'd you have to go to recall? You couldn't leave well enough alone. We told you not to do it. And they're going to try to kill him, or at least, beat him up. And Arnold kills them all. He shoots them. He doesn't even know he could do that. But again, they brought out his previous memories. And so he goes home. His wife's talking to him. He's telling her what's happening. She's telling him, look, you're crazy. Why'd you have to mess with your mind? They did something to you. And she's really stalling for the bad guys to get there and take him out. He realizes this, and he escapes. And somebody shows up and gives him this briefcase. He gets away from where he's at, and the briefcase it has some stuff in it. But it has a recording of him telling himself, if you're watching this, things have gone wrong. So you're not you, you're me. Take this thing out of your nose. And I got the scene of Arnold pulling this big bulbous thing out of his nose. It hurts to watch it. And it was a tracker. So, they found him. He's got to escape again. And the recorded Arnold just keeps saying, get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. So he's going to go to Mars. That's what it's about. So it goes to Arnold going to Mars. And one of the more memorable scenes of the movie is him dressed up like this woman. He's got this big head on, and it's some kind of mechanical, robotic head thing, and it talks for him, but it malfunctions. He's trying to get into Mars, into the airport, or whatever you want to call it, spaceport. And it just keeps saying, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So somebody notices it, and they realize that it's him. And, it's really cool. He takes the head off, exposes himself as Quaid, Arnold. And, the head's actually a bomb. He throws it at him, it blows up, and he escapes. And it's really cool. But he does what the implant says. What they told him would happen is he has to find the girl and become the double agent, secret agent, and, basically save the planet, take out the bad guys, be the hero. And that's really what happens. You have to decide at the end. It's left very ambiguous of, is it real or is it all a dream? And that's left that way so you can talk about it and see what you think happened. I think it was real. I mean, personally, but I see where it could be a dream. The implant told him he would go to Mars. He would be a spy. He would save the planet, take out the bad guys, get the girl. The girl is just like when he was describing what his ideal girl would look like. It's her. He was having dreams in the beginning of a movie of a girl on Mars. It's her. So I think that means that it's supposed to be a dream, but they leave it very open. You want it to really have happened. It's a movie. I hate things when it's all a dream at the end. Those are the worst kind of movies. But Michael Ironsides is a great actor, a great bad guy. He was a jester in Top Gun, and he was in this, and he was the bad guy. I forget his name in the next Karate Kid. And he was in Starship Troopers. He's just a good actor that we haven't really seen enough of in big time movies. He's done a lot of movies and TV shows, but I would like to have seen more of him. And Ronnie Cox was in it. He plays Cohagen. He was the bad guy, and he's good. Ronnie Cox was Bogomil in Beverly Hills Cop. He was in RoboCop, and so the casting was good. If you like Star Trek, I already told you Robert Picardo was in it. One of the henchmen for the bad guys was Gul Dukat. Mark Alamo. So he was in it. I think the movie's really good for 1990. You know, I was 16 when it came out. This was right up my alley. Space, science fiction, action, Arnold Schwarzenegger, right up my alley. So I loved it. I saw it in the theaters. If I had to grade Total Recall, I would give it a B+. It's hard for me to give a movie an A. I mean, an A movie has to go to Forrest Gump, Shawshank Redemption, Titanic. That's an A-type movie for me. So I'm going to give this a B+. The characters that are in it, the actors that are in it, I'm going to give them, a B+. Arnold, this is when Arnold was in his prime. His next movie was Terminator 2. It's one of the greatest, science fiction movies there is. Again, I like Michael Ironsides, I like Ronnie Cox. So I think the cast really deserves a B+. The script was really good too. I mean, especially again for 1990. Not that there weren't good movies back then, but for back then, it's really good. It doesn't lull, it doesn't sag, it doesn't fall into that, hey, we're in the middle of the movie, let's get a slow part. It doesn't. So that's good. The special effects were very good for 1990. The opening shot showing being on Mars is fantastic. It's Arnold dreaming about being on Mars, but it's really good. So I like that. Everything about it, for me, says B+. Even though I hesitate to give shows an A, this movie really does say B+. So that's the grade it gets for the week. If you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? It's been out for 32 years. Check it out. But if you have seen it, watch it again. It's a fun movie. It's, this is summertime. This is the time for blockbuster popcorn movies. So that's one of the movies that I wanted to start with. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love science fiction. I love action, 80s action. And, that was our session for today. Next week, we're going to switch in tracks and go to a different style of movie. I'm not sure what it is yet, but it'll be something equally as awesome. So, Total Recall, check it out. Class is dismissed.